Hey guys, what's up? I'm Nikhil from dopemotions.com and welcome to this brand new After Effects tutorial. Today I'm going to show you guys how to create a really nice and elegant looking slideshow animation in After Effects. Now this is the episode 2 of the 10 episode series that I'm doing. This is the slideshow episode, by the way. And if you haven't seen the first episode on slideshow animation, then make sure to check it out. The link will be in the description below and also in the I button above. And this is the episode 2. More episodes are coming really soon, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. And without any further ado, let's get straight into the video and get started. Alright, so here we are in After Effects. So let's start by creating a new composition like we always do. Let's rename this to main because this is going to be a main composition. Let's set this to 1920 by 1080 and let's make this 60 fps. 10 seconds should be good and hit OK. So here we have our composition. Let's create a new composition for our media where you can drag your image or your text, whatever that you have. So let's type in media or rename this to media 1920 to 1080 and the same exact settings. Hit OK. And then you can drag anything that you want, anything, and by anything I mean the image or video that you have for your corporate slideshow kind of stuff. And if your image doesn't fit the composition, you can hit Control Alt and F. So that's gonna fit the image into the composition. Let's go into the main composition and drag in the media composition into the main composition. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create a shape, and for that here I have the rectangular tool, so I'm just going to double click on it. So it's going to create a rectangle for us. I don't need any stroke for this, so I'm just going to set this to 0, and we need a fill, so I'm going to set this to white fill. And then let's go into the rectangle one, and I'm going to select the rectangle path 1, right click and convert it to Bezier path. Alright, so let's select the path. So now we get points which look something like that. We can hold the point and hold shift and drag it just like so to create a really simple shape, something like that. Let's go to 1 second, or maybe let's go to 1 second and 30 frames and select the layer. Let's drag it just like so right over here. Then select the path, select these 2 points and hold shift and just drag them just like so. So they cover up the complete composition. Let's select the layer and hit P for the position properties and create a keyframe. Go back in time at the very beginning and hold shift and just drag them out of the composition just like that. So now we have something like this. Pretty simple. Alright, so let's select the media placeholder, hit P to bring down the position properties, create a keyframe, go back in time, and let's pull this a little bit to the left side just like so. So now we have something like this. Pretty cool. Let's select all the keyframes actually and hit F9 to ease it. Go into the graph editor, and if your graph editor doesn't look like this, right click and make sure you're working in the edit speed graph and not in the edit value graph. So let's select this and drag the handle just like that to the left side, so we have a little bit of interesting motion to this, as you can see, looking really nice. And then I'm going to change the track matte of the media composition to alpha matte. So now we have something like this, but you can see our composition is getting cropped up just like so. So what we can do is actually we can scale this up. Go right over here. I'm going to scale this up to, let's say, 105. Create a keyframe, go back in time, and I'm going to scale this up to maybe 120, something like that. So now we have something like this, which looks pretty interesting, as you can see. Let's select the keyframes, hit F9, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So as you can see, we have really interesting motion right off the bat. You can keep it really intense as well. I can make this 150 maybe. You see, looks really cool. But I think it's a bit too much, so 120 looks good to me. Nice and elegant. So let's go ahead and pretty quickly rename this to M for matte. Okay, so let's create a really nice shape. So what I can do is select the rectangular tool and just double click on it again. Or we can, actually I'm going to delete this. I'm going to duplicate the matte itself. So hit Control D to duplicate it. Let's turn this on and let's get rid of all the keyframes. Or maybe instead of getting rid of the keyframe, I can select the path. So let's go into contents, rectangular path, And what we can do is we can select these two keyframes, or not keyframes, the points, and drag them holding shift, just like so, maybe right over here. And then I can just select this 2 points and drag them just like so. Then I'm going to try to match it up, so I can just select this point and let's drag it just like so. Maybe I'll keep it this big. And for this one, make sure to select the path and hold shift and just drag it up. Try to be as precise as possible. So now we have something like this, so we don't have to do the complete animation again and again. We can tweak the same exact matte, and it is looking pretty good actually. So let's color this up. I'm going to use a gradient ramp. Alright, let's make this something like a really nice reddish pink color. You can of course use any color that you like, any of your favorite colors, or maybe I'm going to keep it blue. And for this one, let's go with kind of a purple color. That looks more interesting, I think. Yeah, that is looking much better. And also for the ramp scatter, I'm going to set this to 50 so we don't get any color bendings. And I don't think we should get any, cause yep, it's a really, you know, small shape, so I don't think we'll get any color bendings. So let's make it a bit darker, maybe something like so. And for the purple, I think I'm gonna go something like that. Let's drag this a bit, just like so. Pretty nice. Also, I'm gonna bring down the opacity to, let's say, maybe let's go with 80, 85. Yep, pretty good. Pretty nice. And then what I can do is I'm gonna select this matte and let's rename it to shape underscore 01. Let's duplicate it by hitting Control D on the keyboard, and I'm gonna get rid of this gradient ramp. And let's go into the path. Let's select these 2 points by holding shift and just drag them just like so, just like that. And then we can, let's hit U. Let's go to right over here at this keyframe, and let's tweak the position a bit to just like that. So now we have something like this. Now I'm gonna go right over here. I'm gonna bring this really behind, something like so. So now we have a little bit of randomness, you can see. And then I'm gonna select the media composition, hit Control D to duplicate it, bring this on the top, and let's hide this shape. So now we have something like this, you can see, pretty interesting. Also, I'm going to scale up this media composition. I'm going to hit U and get rid of the scaling properties. Let's set this to 120. There we have it. So now we have a little bit of displacement, as you can see right over here, just to make it look more interesting. So now we have something like this. Pretty cool. So let's duplicate this shape, hit Control D to duplicate it. Let's turn this on. Go into the contents, rectangle 1 path. Let's select these 2 points by holding shift and drag them just like so. Then I can just select this one, and also I'm gonna just drag it just like that. Pretty nice. Let's hit U so we can see just the keyframe, and for the position I'm gonna go right over here, something like that. Now we have something like this. Pretty simple. Let's copy the gradient from this one. Control C to copy it and go right over here, hit Control V to paste this up. Looking really nice, you can see. Pretty cool. I think I'm gonna hit U and just make this animation a bit longer. I think it's a bit too fast, so maybe like 2 seconds or something like that. Let's see. Pretty nice. Also, I'm going to select these 2 layers, that is this transform shape, hit Control D to duplicate it, bring this on the top, hit U so we can see just the keyframes, and let's adjust the position to right over here. not the media position. Actually, I'm going to just adjust the shape layer position just to somewhere around there. Yep, this is actually looking pretty nice. Let's see what we have. And also right away, I'm just display this a bit. So now we have something like that, a bit more. Yep, much more interesting. And also for this shape, that is the big shape that we just created, hit U, and I'm going to displace this a bit more. So now we have a little bit more randomness. This is looking pretty nice. So let's hit Control A to select them all and U to close them all. So now let's go ahead and add our text into the scene. So let's select the text tool and type in whatever that text that you want to type. I'm going to just type in corporate. I'm going to use the Unisans, maybe Unisans bold. Where is the Unisans bold? There we go. Make this a bit bigger. Place it somewhere around there. Let's hit Control D, hold Shift and bring the second text down, and let's type in maybe something like promo. I think I'm going to use maybe a bit bold text, I think. So let's go with the Unisans heavy actually. That looks much better on this one. Perfect. So the promo, I'm going to just place it somewhere around there. Let's duplicate it by hitting Control D, bring this down. Let's rename this to slideshow. And I'm going to make it a bit thin, maybe something like a semi-bold. I think that should work pretty good. Yep. And just to be a bit more precise, I'm going to hit Control R and bring up the guide layer. You can see, yep, we are very much precise. Control R to close this up. This is looking pretty nice. I'm going to make the slideshow a bit smaller, maybe around 100. Or maybe let's go with 80. Let's place it in the position using the arrow keys. Pretty nice. Control Shift H to close the control layers, or to hide the control layers actually. And let's hide the guide layer as well. Control Shift H so you can see the control layers actually, and I need to see them because I need to animate a shape for our text reveal. So let's select the rectangular tool and let's create a shape, maybe something like this big, I think, something like that. Also make sure to center the anchor point in the center, and I'm going to hold Shift and just bring it right over here, and let's go ahead and animate our shape. So I'm going to go right over here at 2 seconds, and I'm going to animate the scaling property of the shape. So hit S to bring down the scale properties, unlink them, and let's animate this. So right over here at maybe I say 2 seconds, let's go to 2 seconds actually, and create a keyframe on the scale property. Go back in time. Let's set this to 0. So now we have something like this. Let's select the keyframes and drag them a bit forward in time. Select it, hit F9 to ease it. Go to graph editor, and this time I'm going to create kind of a peak in the center just to make the animation look a bit more interesting. We have something like that, as you can see. Pretty nice. Also for the edges, I'm going to make them a bit rounded. So let's go into rectangle 1, and I think in the rectangle path 1, yep, the roundness, I'm going to increase it just like so. I think that looks a bit more better. You see, pretty nice. I think I'll keep it at 15. Let's rename this to stroke. Hit U so we can see just the keyframes. And now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to get rid of the roundness. I'm going to set this to 0. Alright, So let's go to 40 frames or 45 frames or maybe 3 seconds. I think I'll go with maybe 45 frames and copy this keyframe, hit Control C, Control V to copy paste it. And then I'm going to hit Control Shift D to split the layer and hit U. So you can see here we have all the keyframes that we animated, so we can delete these keyframes. Let's hit delete it and hit S to bring down the scale properties. And then what I'm going to do is let's go to right over here maybe and change the anchor point to the right, and let's scale this up just like so, holding shift just to, you know, jump to higher increments. You can see now we have something like this. And then let's hit Control Shift D to split this up, hit U so we can see just the keyframes. Change the anchor point to the left side, go right over here a bit more forward in time, and let's bring this down just like that. So now we have something like this, pretty simple. Let's delete the keyframe. Let's select all the keyframes, hit F9 to ease it, go to graph editor, and let's create a really nice motion for our animation. So I'll just select this and drag this handle just like that. Select this one, drag this handle just like so, and let's check out our animation. Pretty interesting. So there we have our stroke animation as well. So let's animate our text as well. So what I'm going to do is, instead of using a track mat for our text, what we could do is let's go right over here, maybe somewhere around there. Let's pre-comp the text. So hit Control Shift C to pre-compose it, and let's call this text. Hit OK. Then let's go into the text composition and let's click on this icon where it says, where it is, the region of interest, and I'm going to select our text just like so. Then I'm going to go into composition and crop comp to region of interest, and there we have it. And then what we can do is let's go to 1 second, select all the text, hit P to bring down the position properties, create a keyframe, go back in time and drag this holding shift just like so. And then we can select them, hit F9, go to graph editor and create a peak just like that. And there we have a really nice motion. Just to make it look a bit more interesting, I can just displace them a bit. So now we have something like so. Pretty cool. Let's go back into the main composition and go right over here. Let's bring our text just in the position that we want. And now let's drag them just like so. Now we should have something like this. Pretty interesting. Let's just bring it in the exact position that we want by using the arrow keys, and let's see what we have. Pretty cool, right? And as you can see, it is really simple and easy to do. You can also create a new null object, and this is going to be our zoom animation. So we can select all the layers and parent them to the null object. Hit S to bring down the scale properties. Let's go back in time, create a keyframe, go to, let's say, 6 seconds forward in time. Let's set this to 1110. So we have, I think it's a bit too much, 105, I guess. Yep. So we have a little bit of zooming animation, you know, looks pretty interesting. Pretty cool. You can also add your secondary text right over here if you want to, using the same exact technique. So hit Control Shift H so you can hide the guide layers. Also for the hiding this guide layer, I'm gonna hit Control and semicolon or apostrophe. I think I'm still really confused between semicolons and apostrophes. So there we have a really nice looking animation. Let's make it a bit more spicy by creating a new adjustment layer and doing a little bit of color correction maybe. Let's add a curve to this. Just like that. Also, I want to duplicate this by hitting Control D on the keyboard, delete the curves, and I'm going to use a glow. Let's set this to maybe 75, and for this really high, also bring down the intensity to 0.2, and there we have it. You can see before and after. Also for the threshold, I'll go with maybe 80, and yep, everything looks pretty good to me. And there we have it, our really nice looking slideshow animation. I think the glow it's too much, so go to 0.1, looks much better. And as you go, so that is a wrap for today. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and if it was, make sure to subscribe. Let's reach the mark of 100,000 subscribers soon, and I'm really excited for that. So yep, that is all for today. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and if it was, make sure to subscribe, comment and like, and I will see you in my next video. Till then, take care. Thank you so much for watching guys, and stay raw, stay creative.